Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to A Bold New Dawn on Daybreak Live, your trusted window to the stories shaping our nation and the world beyond. It's Thursday, the 29th of January 2026, and I am Samson Balogun, delighted to be here to guide you through today's headlines, insights, and conversations that matter.
Definitely, and I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun stepping in this morning to help you navigate the day. Whether you're getting ready for work, tuning in from the road, or settling in at home, thank you for choosing Dominion Television as your morning companion.
All right, here's what we have for you on the agenda this morning. On the bridges, we turn our attention to National Assembly, where senators firmly stated that the Tax Reform Act remain untouched, even as it moves to distribute certified copies of the legislation. We'll explore what this means for transparency, public trust, and broader conversations around Nigeria's evolving tax system.
And from there, we'll bring you a weather update followed by Daybreak News, a sharp, comprehensive sweep at the top stories, making waves across Nigeria and the global stage.
Then it's time for our newspaper review and analysis, where we go beyond the headlines to decode the narratives, the politics and behind the print, and what today's front pages reveal about tomorrow's direction.
And for today's big story, power, protection, and partnerships. Our presidential diplomacy is redefining Nigeria's security strategy. As the president continues high-level engagement with world leaders, we'll be asking the big questions. How are international alliances shaping Nigeria's security posture? What role does diplomacy play in tackling internal threats? And are global partnerships the new front line in safeguarding national stability?
Helping us to break this down is our guest this morning, Honorable Komola Jaulaoye, a respected social commentator, public affairs analyst, and APC chieftain. He will share his perspective on the intersection of power, policy, and international cooperation in today's security landscape.
It's a conversation that speaks to the heart of Nigeria's future in a rapidly changing world, and one you won't want to miss.
And of course, we'll wrap things up on this show this morning with Trend Watch, where we track what's sparking conversations online, on the streets, and across the nation.
So stay with us for a morning of news with depth, dialogue with purpose, and perspectives that empower.
This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, where every morning begins with a meaning.
Let's get started. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So it's been, the headlines are not really slowing down. Today is Thursday, but then we're having so many interesting headlines out there. Yeah. And that is exactly what shapes the tomorrow of a country, a nation, a sovereign state. And Nigeria as a country last year hit a crossroad about the tax reform bill that has actually become an act in Nigeria. Some are saying, look, this is not the exact copy that we first saw. Probably there were some changes, and in the end, the House of Assembly has come out to say, look, there was never a time that we changed anything in this. It was exactly the way it was transmitted to the presidency, and we still have it there. But the question about transparency, especially on the floor of the House, don't forget that they have always had a reason to talk about budget padding and some other things like that. So are we seeing a replica of what the conversation was under the Senator Bukola Saraki-led Senate, where there were issues about budget padding? And then are we witnessing the same situation right now about the new Tax Reform Act, where changes were made and people are not even aware of these changes that we're talking about?
It's really sad that we get to this point. No, this is not the first time that something like this will be happening, and then it was bound to happen because initially a lot of persons were not so really satisfied with this old tax laws. And then let me link it to what happened recently. The governor of your state, Seyi Makinde, attended the birthday party of the former vice president of this country. I'm talking about Yemi Osinbajo. And then he said, I miss you in office. So ever since you left, it has never been the same. And then he made reference to the tax laws. And he said those laws were passed without proper, let me say, consultation. According to him, they were not really looked into. Most of them didn't really get to see much of it before they were passed. So he mentioned that. And I want to believe that, according to Senator Godswill Akpabio, he said that the two chambers sat down and then looked into every single item, before they were actually passed. And then the president, gave us assent to the bill. So it's really sad that something like this is happening. But I want to believe, it didn't just happen. And then for every rumor, we must really look into it to ensure that, okay, something of that sort did not really happen, because there was a dispute that ignited in December 2025 when a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abdul Samad Dasuki, raised the privilege motion claiming that gazetted versions, including undebated provisions like lower tax reporting threshold. So it was a big issue at that time, and then it's something we really need to look at. It cited alleged lower thresholds from 50 million naira to 25 million naira for individuals in Section 29 of the Tax Administration Act, and new requirement for 20% disputed tax deposit before appeals. So it is a problem, and because of that, leaders, or let me say politicians like Atiku Abubakar and of course Peter Obi had to weigh in on the matter to say, if for a member of the House of Representatives to raise this particular issue, it means we need to look at it properly. So these individuals are calling for proper investigation. We want to know what really happened. But Senator Akpabio yesterday was trying to say nothing of that sort happened. He even said that the clerk of the House should distribute the CTC, the true copies, to members of the House, so that no other person will have that opportunity to distribute, because they want to look for the solution. They want to find a solution to all of this. I just want to hope that at the end of the day, we won't get to hear that, yes, indeed, it was tampered with. And then we just have to say this to douse the tension. Because I was telling, I don't know what I was saying this to yesterday, that this consistent dismissal of what later becomes the truth is really sickening. Because at the end of the day, Nigerians need to know whatever it is that is going on. These tax laws will not just affect the senators or the House of Rep members. It will affect Nigeria as a whole. And most Nigerians that are not so learned, they don't even understand